sometimes like the hard thing to do
Yeah.
is to either reach out to somebody or to accept them reaching out when you're going, like when you're in your feelings about things. Then on the other hand, you have these moments when you're like feeling this transitional time within yourself of like, oh, I'm changing in a sense of like, I'm tolerating certain things less from other people, or
Yes.
like I'm no longer interested in like the kiki about this and that. Like I want to have deeper conversations or different conversations.
Yeah.
Hey. Welcome back to Two Little Wine Podcast with
Jada.
and Ashley.
Cheers. Another Welch's Day, guys. Another Welch's Day. We'll switch it up for you next time.
It won't be wine, but we'll switch it up. This is mad. Like, I don't drink juice, but
You know what? I like it
I don't
because
know
it's
what it
like
is.
watered down. And I'm like, as I age, I like my stuff watered down,
Can't take
less
the sugar.
Yeah.
yeah, this is probably like my one glass of juice a week. I was about to say wine. I don't really drink juice, but how you been?
I've been good.
What's up?
I've been good. It's been cold, so trying to like look forward to the spring and get myself like ready for that, jazzed up. They said the groundhog came out, so I don't know what that means.
Does that? I was gonna say, what does that mean?
I don't know.
I think I feel like it's supposed to mean 6 weeks more of winter,
Yeah.
but does that mean it's early or late? Like,
But then they also said that the groundhog's been wrong like 90% of the time, so who
I saw-
knows?
I saw it was like a meme of a groundhog, and it was like whatever, and she was saying like my husband's a liar, whatever.
I like
something
that.
like
I
that,
like that. How about you though? How's life?
It's good. No complaints, chilling.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can see the progress in you from 75
Mhm.
soft. She's looking good.
Okay. Must be that water. Because that is
Cleaning
still
you out.
that's still the struggle.
I'm done.
So we had a question a while back, or like a suggestion to talk about experiencing growth while isolating yourself from people, or like what that looks like, right? So thinking about the last year, what are the ways that you feel like you have grown the most? The last year, or like the last 2 years, whatever. I don't know.
I think that the biggest thing is like pushing myself to do things not outside of my comfort zone, but actually sticking to what I'm saying I'm going to do. Like part of this podcast is like pushing myself outside of that and just sticking to it. I think that I used to get in a funk a lot of the time with like not hitting certain like goals or like criteria that I set for myself, and just like being so sad about it and like drowning in like being pity for myself. And I think that growth for me is like not wallowing in it, like taking that as okay, like that's fine, you were down however many days, whatever you were down, I picked myself back up and now I'm that much forward. I think that's the biggest growth I've seen in myself, like putting Jada first instead and like stepping up for her. Not me talking in third person, but like being proud of that, right? And like holding myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I would think about like you setting these goals for yourself, of like just thinking about like things that you've accomplished in the past year, right? Like knowing you personally, of just like things that was like, I was scared, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Like I didn't know how it was gonna work out, but I'm just gonna do it and it'll work out for me. So yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to that growth.
Thank you. How about you?
I think in this past year I have really learned, and it's a work in progress, of like trusting myself,
That's big.
that I can make a decision. Like I don't need to necessarily ask people's opinions or anything like that, but like, because I'll turn for advice or like counsel from people that are close to me that are really important. Like I think about my mom. Like I'll turn to my mom and I'll ask her like, Ma, what should I do?
Like, what do you think?
Or what do you think? Yeah. And over the past year, just being like, you know what? I want to be able to just make a decision on my own, where I don't need to ask.
And like, not necessarily, don't have to be like super confident in that decision, but it's you that's making it and not somebody like making it
It's
for
like
you.
no influence. And like maybe in 2 months I would look back and be like, dang, at this point I would have made a different decision, but also accepting that.
Yeah. Like, as in, like, it's okay to fail.
Right.
Almost.
Yeah. And like, it's okay to feel like 3 months ago, this is where I was. Now I maybe would make a different decision, but at that time, I made the best decision with what I could do, or like with the information. Like, I remember a time that I wouldn't buy like a jacket or like something at the store without being like, Mom, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Is it cute? Should I buy it? Is it too expensive? Is it this? And she would be like, girl, like, you decide if it's too expensive, or you decide like what's in your budget, or if you like it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's definitely one of mine. And then the other thing I think is just like being okay with being alone.
Yeah.
Like spending I've always liked to like do my own thing, as far as like I'll go to the store alone, I'll go run errands, I don't need nobody to like come with me or anything like that. But like, I think like sitting at home alone.
Okay.
And just being okay with like, yeah, this is like, I come home, I cook for myself, like just doing things alone.
Like almost building that independence and being okay with that.
Yeah, because before it would be like, when I lived like with my parents, it would be like there was always somebody around.
Yeah.
And like and then when there wasn't anybody around, it was like, oh wow, like this is nice. But now that things are different, and it's like that most of the time, it used to feel really uncomfortable. And then just
that's amazing. I feel like within the last couple months as well, like me like dating myself has been big. So like me doing things outside of just like running errands, like me just sitting with myself. Like last year, I don't know if I mentioned this, but like last year for my birthday, I didn't do anything. And it was one of the first years in a long time that I literally had nothing planned. It was just Jada, and I wanted to be by myself. Like, my friends wanted to throw a party. My boyfriend wanted me to be like surrounded by loved ones, and I was just like, I love that for me. I love that they want to do that, but I want to be with just myself. So like you said, like being content with just you, and then doing the little things like that you would normally do with others. Like, I think that's like big for me moving forward. I haven't done it yet, but I want to go on a movie date by myself. I want to like have dinner and like go to the bar by myself, and just to like experience those things that you would normally typically like depend on other people for. I think that it's very, very important, and it makes you like grow as a person to do all of those things by yourself. So
definitely. I actually went to the movies by myself for the first time. It was what movie was it? Mean Girls. So it was just like a couple of weeks ago. I
didn't even know they were playing that.
Like January, I think, something like that. I don't know, but it was cool. It was interesting, and at first I was kind of like looking around, like,
does anybody know? Is everybody watching me?
When I went to like buy the ticket, she's like, just one, and I'm like, yeah,
like, don't judge me.
and I was just kind of like, yep, just one, like, but inside I was like, girl, just one.
I was literally like at Target, the one in Seekonk, the other day, and you know how they have that little like the cheap, is it like cheap movie theaters, or is it like regular?
No,
it's regular. Yeah. And I was seeing what they had, and I'm like, I'm gonna just stop here on a day that like it's the middle of the day. That's my favorite times to go to the movies. Not that I've gone in a long time, but I'm gonna just stop by and like take myself to the movies. Yeah. I feel like too, like I go, and I don't know if it's a defense mechanism, maybe childhood trauma or something, but every time I'm going through something that I'm like working through mentally, or it's just like a hard time, or like I'm down, where you just have those periods, I 100% like isolate. I don't know if it's like the healthiest thing, but I do like to be alone in those moments so that I can like get my shit together without having outside influence, right? Because I learned that I depend on other people to get through things, and I don't want to do that. I think that it builds character to get it by yourself, but again, I don't know if that's like a defense mechanism, that I'm like, damn, I don't want anybody like involved so that they can judge me or like judge the process that I'm going through. So I'm still like trying to navigate that and understand that, but I'm 100% a person that when I'm going through something, like, you're not gonna get a response from me. Like, you can text me and you're not gonna hear from me for a couple of days, weeks, or whatever. And like, low-key, I be feeling bad because I do have people that care for me, and they're like, Dad, are you good? And I'm like, no, but like, I need this time for myself. So I feel like, I don't know, isolation is big for me, and I don't know if it's the healthiest way, and I'm just being like super candid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's like good, bad, but I'm working through it, and part of that is dating myself. You know.
Yeah. It could, I think that like it definitely has its
Pros and
cons. Yeah, like you can isolate yourself in a sense of like, I'm gonna allow myself to feel this and weigh these options. I'm gonna allow myself to feel uncomfortable, right? And so that happens, and sometimes it just happens. It's not necessarily like a thing of like, I'm gonna stop talking to people. Like, it kind of just happens naturally.
Yeah.
But I think that sometimes we can, when we're going through something, or like when we're having these big feelings and we're like isolating ourselves, we can like further almost like
ignite the flame in a bad way.
Yeah, like it just can kind of like, you can just stay almost more like stuck, or like it just like sucks you in to like these like feeling down about yourself,
more down,
instead of like, sometimes if you have certain people who can like help lift you up.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So I just had like a aha moment. Yeah, because like I'm thinking about a specific like incident where like someone that I love is going through something, and like it's almost cyclical, right? Like it's a cycle. Like when that person is down, they isolate. But like the best thing in that moment for that specific thing that they're going through, it's best, in my opinion, right, for them to be around loved ones to bring them up.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm saying that because I see it, and then but when it's for yourself, it's the opposite. So it's almost like easier said than done, right? So it's easier for you to see it through other people's, like for other people.
And I think sometimes like it's almost like the hard thing to do is to either reach out to somebody or to accept them reaching out when you're in your feelings about things. And then like, then on the other hand, you have these moments when you're like feeling this transitional time within yourself of like, oh, I'm changing in a sense of like, I'm tolerating certain things less from other people, or like I'm changing in my interests. Like, you know what? I'm no longer interested in like the kiki about this and that. Like, I want to have deeper conversations or different conversations.
Yeah.
And naturally,
that's
right?
when,
there's going to be a shift in like who you're surrounding yourself with. And it's like, no shade. 100%. You know what I mean?
And it's not like, so in my head, I want to say like they no longer serve you, but I don't want to say that, because it's not that they no longer serve you, it's that you're no longer in that place in your life in that moment. Right? So yeah, I can definitely like resonate with that part where it's just like, when I'm going like, just a small example, like when I'm going hard with like working out and getting like healthy, right? When I'm in my healthy mode, and it's like me and my boyfriend are eating healthy, we're eating clean, we're not drinking, we're in the gym, like we're like each other's accountability partners in that way. Like we don't like hang out with our friends. Like there's certain people that it's like, and it's nothing against them, it's just like it's not healthy for you in that moment, right? Like
And so I was watching this like sermon, I think it was like over the weekend or whatever, but basically it was, someone was saying, the pastor's talking about like, when you move a certain way, you want the people around you to move with you. And so the image of the video, right, it was the pastor in the middle and like a bunch of people around them all holding hands. So this is your circle. And what he was saying is like, well, God called me that way, so my circle's moving with me that way. And then I'm being called this way, so let's move back. But now if you're being called a certain way and like you're feeling like pulled to do a certain thing and your circle is not moving, like what do? Yeah. Right? And if it's what you feel and like what you want for yourself, then it's like, all right, it's cool. I'm gonna just break off. And again, it's nothing against you. It's just something that I need to do for myself. And I think that's hard.
That's so hard. Yeah. But it's so real.
Yeah.
And like some people are like just here for like seasons. Like it goes back to like that old saying, not really, but like you are who you hang with. If you're like saying I want X, Y, and Z, or no, let's say whatever. If you want X, Y, and Z, right, at the end of the alphabet, but you're chilling with A, B, C, like that's a big significant difference. That's gonna deter you from getting to the end because you're all the way at the beginning because that's your circle. That's what you chose, right? So 100%, like.
And I think about like,
and that's okay, right? So that's like exactly isolation, it's okay. Like it's okay to like grow out of people. It's okay to even still be cool with them, but just like not how you used to, because you need this for you, because that's where you're supposed to be, and only you know that. Right. Only you know what you can handle. Like, I love putting myself in uncomfortable positions to move myself forward, but I'm not expecting people that I care about to do the same thing. Like, I can't make you do something that you don't want to do, or I can't expect you to be on my same page. You're your own person, and that's okay, and we can still be cool, whatever. But
yeah, definitely, because I think about your like life motto, right? Like the definition of insanity. So I'm gonna move rather than just staying here and feeling like almost like stuck. It can be hard though too, because I feel like so this is right, we're talking from the experience of like you're growing and you're isolating from certain people, but I've been on the other side as well, where like I feel like I'm being isolated by a certain friend, or like, oh, okay, this friendship is fizzling out, right? And that's difficult. As much as it's like, I recognize maybe you're in a different place in your life or whatever, but it's still kind of like a little hard, right? Like,
and I think it's like giving everybody their grace and not taking things personally, because you say it all the time, your perception is your reality. Like, me and you are not looking through the same lenses. Like, how you're feeling about a decision that I made, like it's affecting you, but we're not seeing it the same way. So I think like, you know, communication and stuff like that's always good to have, but it's definitely like always two sides for sure.
Because you think about too, like having friendships who are people who are like in serious relationships, some friends who are married, some friends who have kids, some friends who are really focused on their fitness or their health, or they're really focused on starting a new business or a new venture. Like, we're not always gonna fit into all of these stages of somebody's life in the same way, right? Because I feel like some of my closest friends who are in different stages and phases of their life, we still fit because we make that effort to come together and fit, but it's not the same as like maybe like a few years ago when
like it's not as natural, right? And that's okay. It has to be
more intentional.
Yes. And I think it's easy to, like how you said, like it's easy to feel like, damn, like hurt by it, but you always got to think about it both sides. Like, that person, if you guys are really close or were really close, or like, you know, have that relationship or whatever, chances are they're not trying to hurt you, right? So almost just being open-minded to that too, because people need to go through like some when you're focused. Like I can say that, like I'm a hyper fixator. Like if I tell myself, like there was a time I had like 5 freaking jobs because I knew that I needed to do these things in order to get financially where I wanted to be. So I didn't have time for nobody. So like, if people took that the wrong way, that like I wasn't making time for them, like I can see that, but also like I was in a completely, like I was focused on like a specific pathway that I had to get to, and in my own way, you know?
Yeah. And I think too, then you have like your certain people who is like, some people, okay, no, like I'm not okay with that type of friendship. Right. I need X, Y, and Z from you all the time, every day. And then you have people who are like, I haven't talked to this person in 3 months, and it's still at the end of the day, it's still the same. It's still all love. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's really interesting. I'm thinking about certain friendships that I had, like even like in college or even in high school. Like no, not anymore, because I feel like as far as like the last, you know, my adult life, I've still had like the same friends. Core, so like post college, yeah. But if I think about like either in college, there was certain times where like I spent day and night with certain people.
Oh my God, yes.
That like now I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't talked to this person in like 5 years.
No, and I can relate to that too. And then at the same time, I'll see them and it'd be like no time has passed.
That's true, yeah.
But it's just like we're not at that same stage. Like I have a diverse group of friends or like people that I call my friends, and we are not in each other's lives 24/7.
Yeah.
There's some that I see because it's like they just so happen to like be like maybe the same career path that I'm in, or like it just so happened that the universe put us in these positions where we're in our lives more than others. But I still value and cherish each individual friendship, and like I would hope that the relationships that I'm building, they know me as a person, so that they know what I'm going through when I'm going through, and accepting of how that is.
Yeah,
you know,
like it's not malicious or like in this harmful way.
And you know what I've really noticed too, like with the whole like what's meant for you will come, I find myself that every time I'm pulled to, because you have those feelings that you're pulled to do something, right? And like every time I'm pulled to do something and I do it and I go for it full force, I end up meeting these freaking amazing people that we just click. We're just there. There's like, it's like so natural. Like they belong in my life in this moment. These new friendships that I'm like, oh shit, I feel like I've known this person my whole life. Like they just, you know, like I feel like everybody has their own individual journey. And if like you open up to it and really give into what's pulling you, those people will come. And sometimes, unfortunately, the other people will go. Yeah. Or they'll just be there.
I've even had like, I think about like this I'm gonna do it like with my hand because it's what I imagine, but like being close with somebody, right? And then things like you come apart, and then sometimes somehow some way like y'all collide again.
Yes.
And then you know it goes like that, like or then you know the longevity is different or whatever, but like even think about like people that you knew from a long time ago and then you reconnect.
Yes, literally just happened to me this year. Like I have a freaking friend, guys, from elementary school. We were 5 years old. Like, and mind you, we went to an elementary school. Ashley and I went to Charles Forts. And is that okay to say that? I don't know.
Yeah.
We're in Rhode Island, guys.
No. It's been like 25 years.
We went to Charles Forts, and at the time it went from kindergarten to 6th grade. So like Providence, like Rhode Island, if you're from here, it's so small. So you know these people for so freaking long, and then what, you go to middle school, you forget, whatever. Yeah. So this girl specifically, like we were best friends when we were 5 years old, and I didn't have friends outside of school in elementary school, like I mentioned before, but inseparable. It was like 3 of us, and just so happened recently we're like in the same like career path, and we have like Instagrams and stuff, and we just rekindled, and like we've been going to the gym, we've been hanging out, and like freaking 20 plus years have passed in between that. And it's so cool to see that. Like I don't know, it's so interesting, and just being open to
that. Yeah, exactly, being open to like, wow, okay, this could be cool. That's
it's so weird, but like I love it.
It's such a Rhode Island thing.
It's such a Rhode Island thing.
But also like, have you heard of the invisible string theory? So the invisible string is like we're connected to different people and different things with this invisible string, and like you'll always like find your way back to them.
Soul ties?
And so, yeah, I guess so.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I believe in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the same.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like we could get into it. That could be like a whole thing.
Like, do you ever, little tangent, do you ever feel like you meet people and you're like, you have deja vu, and then, well, I think I'm going very specific. It's like, put your hand down if.
It's only you.
It's only me. But like, I have these moments going back to like being open and being called to things and like isolating, whatever, that like when I'm super focused on like, and you feel that you're doing the right things for yourself, you meet these people and you're like, oh shit, our lives crossed before.
Yeah, like before. Yeah, that's
like,
the whole soul ties, invisible string. Yeah,
and like we didn't know, or we didn't like make it,
or like we were just shy of like meeting each other or like colliding in some way.
And then now
it just wasn't the time.
Yes, it's like time and place for everything. It's insane. That shit blows my mind. And then I have deja vu, and then I can get into all that in my theories. But like, it's so interesting.
Yeah, I think it's important to surrender to your growth and being like accepting the change. It's uncomfortable going through it. I think So I'm 30 now.
Mm-hmm.
Since I turned 28 to now, I have never been more uncomfortable in my life than the last 2 years of just, and not like 2 years were just so uncomfortable, but like just moments in those last 2 years. I think I told you when you turn 28, like, like you're about to be 28, like shit's about to get real.
I legit remember you saying, I said something about like, damn, I'm getting heartburn. You said, yup.
But like,
that's me being
literally
funny, but
28 is when I was like, wow, that really rocked my world.
yo, I'm here for it. I'm ready.
Yeah, and I think now I can appreciate it, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of exciting. Like, let's, life be lifing, but like, to me, that's where it's like, here we are with the growth. Let's accept the change and surrender to that, and just being like, okay, and trusting yourself, trusting God, trusting your process of like, it'll make sense to you.
Yeah, like even if it doesn't make sense now.
You don't need to know.
No.
Right now. I know we want to know.
Hard. Girl, I want to know.
But we don't need to know in order to like.
But that's also a fact. Like we don't need to know.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna bother me. There was this quote. I was just watching this movie, and it said, "You do not need to know all the. It's better to know some of the questions than all of the answers." Let that sink in. It's better to know some of the questions than all of the answers.
What do you do with answers if you don't know the questions?
Right. Or like you have all the answers, right? But now it's making you second guess the path.
Right. Like, am I doing this because this is gonna like this is the outcome, right? Like just
like you're getting in your own way. Like we as human beings, I feel like get in our own ways a lot.
Well, it's this whole thing of like, I think we were talking about it in the last episode of like your human and your soul.
Yeah.
Of like, how do you connect? Your human wants to do this, right? But there's a higher purpose. So your soul is pulling you to something else. And it's crazy because when you know something is not for you and you do it anyway,
you feel that.
You can feel it.
You feel it.
Yeah.
And ask the universe to present itself, guys.
Yes.
Woo, you will be shocked. You will be shocked. It's like that meme that says, I asked God to show me this or whatever, or to get give me a sign, and then this happened to me, and I still got going.
Yeah, because sometimes you're like, wait, but was that the sign?
Y'all guys, be specific. Ask the universe for something specific.
I think I actually sent it to you. It was like, never go to sleep without a request to your subconscious.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. So that was like in one of my journals of just like, and essentially of that, like, ask for what you want, ask to be guided, ask for what's next when you're questioning things and looking to experience some sort of growth or change. Because I think change is one of the biggest ways we experience growth.
I know they literally one and the same. It's like a never ending loop. Like,
and in that, right, like, it might mean that what you thought you wanted, whether it's a goal or what you thought was like a good relationship or friendship or situation, connection, what you thought was good for you, you realize maybe it's not. And that's okay.
That's when it's like hard, and being gentle with yourself, right? And like allowing you to like fail in a way.
Yeah. Like, and it's like grieving through that process, right? Like grieving, a different stage in your life, grieving a friendship, grieving a relationship, grieving a dream that you had. Like, I thought this is what I wanted for my life, and it's no longer. You know what I mean?
Like the present moment that it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Like, being gentle throughout the entire process, and 1,000% easier said than done. Right?
Yeah. And I just hope that people know that you're not alone. Right? Like, this is we're going through it. As much as people, maybe they don't show it, or you think you can't see it in them, like everyone is going through their own battle and their own area of growth or like change.
I feel like people, right, we're good at masking, right, the internal. And like, I think you've said it before, like, people view you as one way and you're like, that's not really how it is inside. I think as like, especially with social media, especially with like the day and age we are now, like there's this there's this facade of where you should be at what age, what you should be doing. If you're not there, you're like an outcast or you're less than and stuff like
you're
that.
Behind.
You're behind. We're all going through it, guys. Like whatever you see on the outside, there's so much going on deep behind. Behind. And like we're constantly like putting in the work to be better. And I think a big, huge part, like this podcast is doing that for me. Like it's filling my cup, right? To see that for ourselves and like to push ourselves further.
Yeah. Remember, Instagram's a liar.
Instagram's a lie. For real, because let me tell you, because I be looking like a travel influencer. Okay. Your girl is in Providence, Rhode Island. Working like a lot.
Yeah.
Not traveling. But yeah, no, I think like
it's a highlight reel. That's really what it is. The highlights of your life. So.
Like, let's be real with ourselves. Let's enjoy the uncomfortableness of growing.
Yeah, that's so funny though that you say that of like a highlight, because this past year, 2023, I'll say, like I took a lot of trips, right? And people close to me knew, and they're like, "Where's the content? Let's see the pictures." And I'm like, "I am on this vacation, but I am crying." No, like I'm not. I don't feel like posting about this, you know. And that's not me posting the picture with the tears coming.
The new emojis are great though.
Yeah.
That's me. That's Ashley on vacation.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that's where too, like, I don't think that isolation has to be like a bad thing or be viewed as a bad thing, right? To a certain extent, like we gave the examples before. But like privacy is important, especially now. Like me, I don't like people to know every step that I'm taking as I'm taking them. Like, right? Like it's not fair to me. Like I need to be happy in those moments, enjoy those moments for me, be uncomfortable in those moments first, and then you know, like you can share what you want
share
after.
When you're ready. If you want to.
If you want to.
So if you're going through a change, you're going through some sort of growth, we are here.
We're here for you.
We're here with you. We're going through our own, you know, versions of change and growth, and
we hope this like resonated with you guys. We hope that like you can like take something from this, if not like question in a good way, like the steps that you're taking to heal yourself in your journey.
Yeah. So cheers.
Cheers.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Oh, okay. Yeah. Not next Tuesday.